Okay, so this is the last part of the first climb. You have cycled up quite a bit. Takes maybe 40 minutes, and you think you're at the top from the coast, and it's a flat area, but then you've got this last section. It's actually quite steep. So yeah, when you think you're at the top, you're not. And this bit will bring you up to Crossroads, T-junction, and you take the turn out to the right, which brings you all along the coast. It is a lot of climbing even along the coast, but beautiful views, so try and stay within yourself and enjoy it. It's a long day. So basically after that T-junction, you've pretty much completed the first major climb of the event. After that right-hand turn, you're being taken along, basically along the whole coast of the island. It's kind of rolly for the next section, so still you've not completed the climb yet. This first part here will bring you up to a junction which splits off towards Sacalabra, which is one of the most famous climbs on the island. Thankfully you will not be doing that today. So you continue on past that junction, and it brings you down an absolutely beautiful descent into Sawyer, which we'll show you later. I think the key with all of this climbing, especially if you're aiming to do the 3-1-2, is to just stay within your comfort zone. The first half of the event is nearly all climbing, so you want to reserve as much energy as possible, and it's a beautiful route, so enjoy the scenery. You'll have hours of beautiful views on your right hand side for the first half of the event, so take that in. Try not to suffer too much. Top tip for me anyway, which I find personally really helpful when climbing, is to use your Garmin or your bike computer to see how much of the climb you have left. It just helps with pacing, and mentally you can see, okay, you know, in 65 meters I'll get a break, and that just helps kind of push you through each of the climbs in a more manageable way. You can kind of break it down into sections, and not look at it as kind of a huge undertaking. I think soon we'll be getting to the beautiful second aqueduct, crossing the road. That's your point where you are keeping to the left and not going down into Sacalabra. But bear in mind, you're still not at the top of the climb at that point. There's another few K, I think, before you reach the top. And then it's rolly all the way to the lakes. You see lakes on your left-hand side. Once you see the lakes, you're almost at a beautiful descent into Sawyer. So you can have that as one point in your mind. Once you see the lakes, there will be a break soon for you to enjoy the downhill. So this section is nice. It's quite rolly and you can get a little bit of speed going here. I really enjoyed this rolly section along the coast. You can get some speed going, recover from the first climb, and enjoy the scenery. It's not very technical. The turns are quite wide and forgiving. The road surface is really good, so you don't need to worry about any real technical aspects along here. Yeah, this part's fun. I would say on the day, depending on the weather, if the roads are in any way wet, that's when you need to be a little bit careful. The roads in Mallorca tend to be super slippy. If there's any tree coverage or dampness on the roads, especially on any kind of hairpin turns, your wheels can easily lose traction. So just be aware of that. I'm hoping the weather is going to be perfectly dry. But even in that, you can have sections of the road that might be in shade and they might be a bit damp. So just be aware of that. Obviously, safety is very important. We don't want any accidents and everyone to finish the event in one piece. Next section before the aqueduct is really pretty. It's like a little bit downhill, few little hairpins, but like not super technical. And it's usually in the sun, so I always enjoyed this part. And then the aqueduct is kind of your point to aim for, and it's a nice, beautiful structure to complete this section of the ride. Just lovely mountainous views on the ride along here. And this section's really beautiful, really rolly and fast. So do take your time, be careful, but also if you can, take a moment to enjoy the scenery on the right-hand side because it is really spectacular. I think this might be one of my favorite roads on the island. So now you start seeing the ocean, possibly for the first time since you've left the coast, and it is beautiful. And there's a viewing point here if you want to stop and take pictures. And some of the corners here are a little bit tight and you do build up a little bit of speed, so yeah, be careful on some of the tighter corners, especially if you're getting distracted by the views. Mallorca really is so beautiful for cycling. I've cycled many different countries over the world, and I think Mallorca is by far the best roads in combination with the best views and very safe drivers. I've had basically no issues in terms of like drivers on the road here, which just makes it such a relaxing place to cycle your bike in comparison to other places. I also find it amazing how well kept the roads are, even on these basically country roads in the mountains. They're really well surfaced and well maintained, so it's just a perfect place for cycling. The obviously I'm from Ireland, so you can go into the Irish mountains on your bike, but you might be on some rough terrain, especially when you get into more remote areas. But Mallorca seems to have well-paved roads on all the, going through all the major towns, so it's perfect. So from here I can see the aqueduct to my right. That is an indicator that there is not a whole lot of climbing left before you get to a really, really long descent. So you'll pass through the aqueduct. You keep to the left, a little bit more of a drag, and then you'll see the lakes. Start seeing the lakes on your left, which is also a beautiful part of the ride, past the lakes on the left. After you pass the aqueduct, it's a short climb just to the lakes, and then you get a little bit of a breather along the lake, and then it's just one more climb to the descent into Sawyer, which is definitely, I think it's my favourite descent on the island because the roads are so wide, not very technical, and good surface. So that is a fun one to enjoy after all this climbing. And this last section up to the lake is quite steep, so take it easy, but it's not super long, maybe 10 minutes, depending on your pace obviously, but you'll see signs for a bridge, a tunnel, and so the tunnel will be your point of release. That is when it flattens out and you go along the lakes. So I'm 260 meters away. I think I can do that. Remember to take your sunglasses off through the tunnel because you will not be able to see anything.